When you hear Rocky, everybody in the audience knows what's going on.
The composer is a storyteller.
Music has the ability to shape and in some cases alter or even subvert what the filmmaker is communicating.
The score is the heart and the soul of the film.
Film music can make an exciting scene more exciting.
We call it emotion lotion, because you can make you feel anything we want you to feel.
It's being able to communicate on a level that they can't tell in pictures. Great film music can elevate.
Music has always been a part of the cinema-going experience, as far back as 1895 and when the Lumiere brothers were experimenting in Paris. In the earliest days, it is true, music was thought of as something to cover up the noise of the projector.
Silent films were never silent. There was at least a pianist in the smallest Nickelodeons, and sometimes the bridge between them was a theater organ.
There were many theater organ makers, but the one that produced the most organs and is thought to be probably the best is the name Wurlitzer. It showed how a person could bring to life the movies that were otherwise quiet. They either did a score that was printed for them, or they improvised and created their own. They were made part of the movie-going experience.
A number of people had toyed with the idea of scores in Hollywood.
Max Steiner's score for King Kong in 1933 was a landmark.
When King Kong came out, wait a second, orchestra music in a movie?
The only reason he was able to do it is because the movie wasn't scary, it looked kitschy and stupid, because it was kitschy and stupid. But then he put that music in. It completely changed the movie. It made it frightening.
People had not done that before. It was really the first major score that demonstrated conclusively the power of music in film. Alfred Newman came from New Haven, Connecticut, an iconic figure in the history of film music.
A sound that favors horns and woodwinds.
My father was Alfred Newman. In 1930, he came to LA. He was at 20th Century Fox for 20 years. The Fox logo, arguably the most famous logo ever written. It wasn't written for Fox, it was written for Goldwyn, and it was rejected. And then he used it for Fox, and Darryl Zanuck loved it. There was nothing like that orchestra. I'm talking about rubato. It means slowing down and speeding up in an expressive way. You would never read a line of text like, I went to the market today. I went to the market today. You'd have a structure of a phrase. That is so uber important in music. They became expert at making that musical.
That helped define what we know as the classic Hollywood sound.
A spotting session is the first time we all get together, look at the movie, and decide where the music's going to go and what type of music it's going to be.
All movies, the first 20 minutes are too slow because we're laying pipe. So we want the music to be something but not crazy.
The goal of the spotting session is to have a dialogue with the composer that you've probably been postponing. I've done my work, I've done my design, I've cast the movie, I've shot it, we've done all our beautiful photography, we've done all our super brilliant editing. Now it's going through and trying to communicate what I've heard in my mind.
All mothers are our rocks.
So it says Open Road Pictures, then we're gonna cut to possibly not the front door, but a shot before the front door that establishes the house.
Got it.
Spotting to me is really important because it gives me an idea of what the director's looking at and what he's looking for.
Something that's peppy right away, and then we come here, we slow down.
You're collaborating with people. I want them to feel like a filmmaker like them has come into the process. I'm the one that specializes in this one thing that they're uncomfortable with.
You're trying to come up with music that supports the scene and complements it in an unobtrusive way.
You spend as much time as you can immersing yourself in the backstory. As a film composer, you're part of the storytelling team.
You want to spin forward to the next cue, Gary?
Yeah. This one sort of ends when she comes around the corner, right?
I try to get a sense of what their insecurities are. The more time you spend with them, the more you get those answers.
Most directors don't know how to convert emotions into musical, or into music. So the composer has to kind of, act almost like a therapist and go through all this mishmash of what the director's saying and get the essence of it.
What if we kind of tailed right into that?
Yeah, right. You don't need it going.
Don't score him. Just
Maybe don't, or just put a nice little transition, Gary, that kind of just spills over, and then he comes up.
Yeah.
Something like that, maybe. Yeah. Okay. We got the gist of it.
Sort of in that first conversation with the director, I have glimpses of what it could be. Every project starts roughly the same way. Somebody comes into the room and says, I got this idea, it'll be fun to do. It'll be a fun adventure, etc. And they tell you the idea and you get drawn in and you get excited and you're flattered that they're even considering you. Whoa, me, I get to go on this ride. And then they leave the room and then you have a moment of reflection. You go, I have no idea how to do this. Oh my God. And then after a while you think, should you be phoning them and saying, hey, I think you better phone John Williams. I have no idea how to do this. The blank page is always the blank page. Plus, I have no idea where music comes from. So, there's always the fear that somebody's going to switch off the tap.
This is a film called Race. I've been working on it for a week, so I'm just beginning. I'm just sort of getting into my process with it. Where I'm thinking it should start is just coming up. And, I'll start with it coming in really, really quietly.
No. Well, why not? You want to win a gold medal? Sure. You want to do it in Berlin? Well, I mean, unless you were planning on waiting.
There's a change of direction in the scene. And that's often a prompt for where music will come in.
They don't care much for color folk over there. Well, they don't care for much here in Columbus either. Is that gonna be a problem? No, sir. I just came here to run. Well, then for the next 28 months, you're either in a classroom or you're on that track. Every hour,